Hello guys, welcome back to In 5 Minutes. In this presentation we are going to see the difference between combinational circuits and sequential circuits. We have studied all the types of combinational and sequential circuits. Now based on the properties we are going to differentiate between these two kind of circuits. So let us start with the very first point, that is nothing but the basic block diagram. So here you can see in the combinational circuit it is simply input some combinational circuit and output is present. There is no kind of feedback. But when you see the block diagram of a sequential circuit, you have the inputs, okay, depending on the combinational circuit inside the block you will get the respective outputs. But what is the difference between sequential and combinational circuit? The sequential circuits have the ability to store the data. So this memory element is required for storing of the data, so I can call it a data storage. Okay, and this data stored, it is in regular interval of time, it is used to fed back into input to provide the feedback from the output side to get the next state logic, and this is triggered on a particular time intervals by a clock signal, also called as trigger signal. Okay, so depending on this we can define combination circuit as the output is a function of present state inputs only. It does not dependent upon the past inputs or the past outputs. Then the circuit is called as combinational circuit. Whereas when the output is a function of clock, that is nothing but the trigger signal, present input states and the previous states of the system, that is nothing but the stored data or the memory, then this output will be dependent on present input as well as past input or the past outputs which are stored in the memory cell. Then the circuit is called as sequential circuit. Third point, combinational circuit do not have the ability to store the data. Since we have seen that present inputs will give you present output no matter what the past input was and the future input will be. We are having the same output for the present input conditions only. Whereas in sequential circuits they have memory element to store the present state, that is sent as a control input to get the next state operation. That is nothing but the sequential circuit. We have here the combinational circuits used mainly for the arithmetic and Boolean operations, whereas sequential circuits are used to store the data. So what are the basic building blocks of the combinational circuit and sequential circuit? The basic building block or the elementary building block of this combinational circuit is logic gates. That are nothing but three type of logic gates we have studied: basic gates, derived gates and universal gates. These are the basic building blocks of the combination circuit, whereas flip-flops are the elementary blocks for the sequential circuit. And flip-flop is nothing but the 1-bit storage element. One flip-flop can store 1 bit of data, that you all know. And the flip-flop what we have studied are the delay type of flip-flop, toggle type of flip-flop, jumping key, that is nothing but JK, and set reset, that is nothing but SR flip-flops. These are the sequential circuit or the basic building blocks of the sequential circuit. Moving out further, last point we have, it does not require triggering to operate. See, combinational circuit doesn't depend upon any of the triggering pulse or the memory element. As soon as it will get the present inputs, it will calculate the output for you. Hence, it's independent of clock signal. Whereas the sequential circuit, it depends upon the clock triggering. Suppose the inputs are present but the clock is not present, or you can say triggering pulse is not applied, then the sequential circuit won't be showing you any of the output. Hence, it requires clock for triggering the circuit, and after triggering only you will get the corresponding output. So that's all about difference between the combination circuit and sequential circuit. For more videos and ideas, stay tuned to In 5 Minutes, and thank you for watching this video.